Hey, welcome to yet another video. I hope you are suffering somewhere, and I mean that from the best of my intentions because, as David Goggins said, you need pain and suffering. You need to go through that if you want to be the best version of yourself and if you want to better yourself, basically, right? So I was watching this video, this Q&A session with Charlie Morgan, which he posted like 5 months ago, and there are a ton of cool insights that he shared on that video. So that was basically a session where people were asking me questions and which were mostly were beginners. So a lot of questions that they asked resonated with me a lot, and I hope that resonates with you as well. So it is almost a 2 hour long video, and it's so much value that's packed into that video, and I would highly recommend that you go ahead and check it out. I would put the link in the description. But for those who don't have that kind of attention span to go and watch a 2 hour video, in this video I'll be talking about what are the lessons that I learned from that particular video, and I'll kind of jam pack that 2 hour long video into this short couple of minute video for you to digest. So yeah, if you think that sounds like a good idea, just keep watching and let's get into it. So the question number one that resonated with me a lot was when someone asked him how should they A/B test their emails or kind of test their emails, right? And what Charlie said was you don't need to kind of A/B test your subject lines or your signatures. People put so much uh, effort into those things, right? And you don't need to do that, right? You don't need to test your subject lines or your signatures. They are irrelevant, right? If you just write yours faithfully Yuvraj or anything like that, or the subject high prospect name, right, it will work just as fine. What really matters in a cold email is what you write inside the body and how insightful that is. So there are three things that you need to test and kind of iterate over and optimize in a cold email. These three things are: number one would be your copy. This includes your offer and what kind of guarantees you're providing, risk reversals, and all of that stuff. You need to test that, right? Number two is your cold Loom scripts, right? So Charlie kind of suggests that you include a Loom script in your emails, right? So you need to test your Loom script. And number three would be the deliverability of your Loom. Do you like insert that uh, like as a link over to Loom's website? Do you like uh, go with a more like go like download that Loom and upload that to Google Drive and give that link, or you post it as a GIF or something so that they can click and go there? So there are different types of things that you can do with a cold email, and yeah, you need to test that what performs better, right? You need to iterate over that. So these were the three things: first your copy, your Loom script, and your deliverability, right? Now number two was when someone asked him what can I do to kind of earn this amount of monthly income or this amount of monthly income. And what Charlie said was you need to become a person that is capable of earning that income, because your business is a reflection of your qualities and the skills that you have. This is something Alex Hermosi says as well. Your business is just a reflection of the personal qualities and the skills that you acquire, right? And the more skills that you acquire, it goes to your bottom line and kind of lays a brick for you, which increases and increases and increases. And uh, how much you are personally capable of, that reflects in your finances and your net worth. My third takeaway was to go ahead with a omni-channel approach, which means you are outreaching your prospects or kind of hitting them from different platforms, right? So you're not just focused on cold email or just LinkedIn or just Facebook or just Instagram. You are kind of hitting them with all of the kind of angles, right? Why is that kind of effective? Because the more your prospect is able to see your face, right, the more trust you are able to build in front of your prospect's eyes. because if you are just and it also increases the probability of them seeing your message, because they might be active on one platform and not active on another. And if you hit them with multiple angles, it increases the probability that your outreach is actually reaching them, right? So that was the main takeaway. And for example, if you are doing cold emails, right? So I'm basically doing cold emails to reach my prospects. So how I can implement LinkedIn as well is, when I send them the connection request, I tell them, hey, did you get the chance to check out my email? It's very important, and I would highly recommend that you check it out. So this is, so if they kind of missed it, and if they are active on LinkedIn, they will go and check out my email, right? So this is very effective, and I would highly recommend that you guys try it out. My third takeaway was that it's 80% mindset and 20% work, right? And it's so true, right? So the most common problem that people face is they they kind of kneel down and surrender to the resistance that they face. They're going through this transition of becoming a new version of themselves, and it is hard, right? And they kind of give in to that. So if you are able to deal with the resistance that you are facing and kind of accept it as a reality, that it is necessary for me to go through this if I want to reach the other side, and everybody goes through it. So if you are able to accept that, it just makes your job like so much easier, because you just expect it, right? And if you expect it, it's going to be easier for you, right? So it's again 80% mindset and 20% work, right? If you have conquered your mindset, the work part just becomes so much easier. Now the next takeaway is a sales lesson, which is to never sell your service, sell the outcome. Now many people make this mistake of talking about their features and explaining them what are the features we have, uh, and we provide Facebook ads. They give too much emphasis on the actual process. So you don't want to talk about how you are going to be doing it. You just want to talk about that you can, right? So you want them to fantasize about their dream outcome that they have, right? So first identify that dream outcome and just hit that dream outcome, not the boat that's going to take them to that dream outcome. And the cold messages that you send should break patterns. We as humans are so used to, and it's so easy for us to recognize patterns in things, right? And you want to craft your cold messages different from others, because if it's same as what others are offering, it's going to be so easier for them to kind of recognize the patterns, right, in things. And you want to break them, you want to stand out. And how do you stand out? By breaking the patterns. And one great analogy that he gave for sales, in the sales lesson part, is how do you create a contrast in the sales call itself. So for example, if I'm asking a question to John, who is a potential prospect, so I'm going to say, hi John, what is the problem that you're facing? Okay John, so what is it in this problem that you hate the most? What is the pain point? So just talking with a monotone tone, but you have to at the same time sound interesting, because if you're not sounding interesting, the other person will just think that you're not interested in the answer. But you have to be monotone and interesting at the same time, right? And after that, you have to create a contrast and kind of speak with conviction, right? uh, so for example, John, I can change your life, right? So you see that, you see that contrast that I built. I was monotone when I was asking questions, and then I kind of understood the situation, and he should feel understood, right? That is a very important part. And when after I've done that, I just go like, John, I can change your life. And he would be like, okay, where did this thing come from, right? So he would not be able to anticipate it, and that's when it kind of hits, right? So that was a great takeaway as well. Now the next takeaway, I forgot the numbers. The next takeaway was to be patient for your long term goals, but be impatient for your tasks, right? Tasks mean short-term goals, like what I need to do today, right? For example, I have a task, so I will put a deadline on it, and I need to be impatient and kind of get it done, and grind as hard as I can. And you should be patient for your long-term goals. That is the point. Now, the next tip is for those people who do cold calls, which is the hardest, but uh, it also gives you the most growth. And that tip is when you are dealing with gatekeepers, right? So when you're dealing with gatekeepers, just talk with conviction and sound like you already know who the owner is, and you can find that through LinkedIn, right? So that is a great tip for that. So you want to be like, hey, just put me through, John, something like that, right? I'm not used to doing cold calls, but yeah, I hope you get the idea. You have to sound confident and have that conviction, like I already know this guy. So that's something that you are striving for. Now, my final takeaway was the KPIs that you should be striving for when you are doing your outreach, right? So for cold emails especially, when you send 100 cold emails, you should be aiming for at least 1% appointment booking rate, right? So if you are sending 100 emails, and I'm talking minimum, right? So when you send 100 emails, you should get at least one appointment from them. That's what you should be striving for. For the sales calls, you should be aiming for 6 sales calls for every client that you sign, right? For 6 sales calls, you should be able to sign at least one client, right? uh, right, so these were the key performance indicators. You want to optimize them as you go along, right? And yeah, that was the video. I hope that you found some value out of this. Let me know in the comments what were your biggest learnings, and if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you just want to have a chat, we can also do that. Just drop a comment, it will help the algorithm as well. And feel free to subscribe, like the video if you felt like this was helpful. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.